Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck. Before I begin, let me just say this is going to be a little bit of a messy review because, as you can see, it's time to form Devastator. We have all six Constructicons: Long Haul, Hook, Scrapper, Mixmaster, Scavenger, and Bone Crusher, along with Long Haul's little towing payload thing. And this is all going to combine to form Studio Series 86 Devastator. Or at least I think it's Studio Series 86. Like I said, I get confused when they drop the 86 nomenclature on the packaging, but it's still Transformers the movie, and people call it, well, whatever. All in all, let me just say, not that hard to do. But I have to start off by making a major mea culpa apology. Throughout the reviews of the individual figures, I have said that you could do, once you get Long Haul and Hook, the armored vehicle modes. Well, unfortunately, I am wrong. Out of the figures, the only ones that really can pull off the armored vehicle mode are Scrapper and Mixmaster. The fist components, which were originally the forearms, the little spring-loaded things that would go with Bone Crusher and Scavenger, do not peg on top. Even if you remove their weapons, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't come out right. Now, I did say with Scrapper here, you can do it. You will have to remove his weapon. You take the wings off the side here, leaving the central piece attached, and the grooves here on the back line up with tabs and grooves here on the wings, and they just peg in, which is very accurate to the Combiner Wars and Unite Warriors way of doing it. Now, of course, with the weapon left over, I really don't know what to tell you. There's no extra spot to work it in anywhere. I do believe on this section, no, actually on Long Haul, he does have a spare port on the side that you can tab it in. And there is actually, and it's actually kind of interesting how you do the weapon storage when you combine Devastator, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Let me just make sure that's kind of straight. So there you have Scrapper in its armored vehicle mode. Now, Mixmaster, the original armored vehicle mode, was storing Devastator's blaster. And you can kind of pull it off. You can use the two pegs here on either side of the cement mixer. It's not accurate to how it was originally done, but it does pull it off. Other than that, unfortunately, yes, you cannot do the armored vehicle modes. So, with that being said, all that's really left to do now is start transforming and combining the bits and pieces. And I think we'll start off with the legs and work our way up. So starting off with the legs, we have Scrapper and Mixmaster. Now, Scrapper, I think I kind of showed you sort of how they did it in my original review. Basically, you're going to want to make sure that green tab stays in right there. That's going to give it a little extra support. Snap the bucket, well, not snap, but soft detent the bucket into place. Swing the arms down and around, and it will tab back in. There's a port right there. I'm just leaving the gun attached for lack of losing it. Now, the instructions do show flipping out the hands, which, if you look at it from the side, you really don't see the hands. I didn't notice that much of an extra level of support, but we'll do it. Angle the back section slightly so you can rotate the cockpit around for the front hauler. Bring it back up. You're going to tab that back into place. And then what you want to do is spread the legs ever so slightly, because the combining port for Devastator is just going to slide in like that and then sandwich around. Trying to remember which way, but we'll figure it out. So there you have that, and we keep the gun off to the side. Mixmaster, kind of a cool thing here. The front end does double hinge out and will come up and snap into place. So you're not rotating the whole front of the truck, just that front panel. Come around the back here, flip these panels down all the way. You want to kind of like, they're going to be a little angled out. That'll allow you to flip these panels down into place. And then what you're going to do is bring these panels back up, and those will actually, there's little tabs that will help lock those other panels into place. That gives you the heel support. Detach the forearms, fold them back. That frees up the ankle. And you can, at this point, go ahead and open up the drum. On this leg, Devastator's thigh will just slide right in. And we're going to put the gun right there again, just so I don't lose it. Oh, wait, it actually doesn't fit. So, yeah, I'm going to stick the gun in the side there. Again, just so we don't lose it. But there is proper storage for it in Devastator mode. Okay, so here's Bone Crusher and Scavenger. We're going to do the arms, and where their guns store in vehicle mode, that's actually where they're going to store in Devastator mode. So we're going to start with Scavenger here, and the first thing you want to do is fold up the bucket there, so it'll come down flat, the arm, just like so. Detach the treads as if you're transforming into robot. Flip out this whole section here, flip up that panel, rotate it so it's facing forward. Actually, I'm sorry, rotate it so it's facing forward this way, that you have the elbow joint there, since this will be the right arm of Devastator. Flip up the front of the tread here, that was the ankle, would be the ankle pivot in robot mode, and then bring down this panel, and this will tab in to that tread, forming the arm and the leg. It'll just slide on like this. Coming down to this section here, flip up the peg that was, it was tabbing into that payload. Flip out the forearm till the hand till it snaps into place. The hand does come separate. You do have to peg it in. What I do is there's a hollow side, and then as we saw, a more solid side. I peg the fist into the hollow side because once it's in there, it kind of covers up all that. Line this up, and there's a peg in the forearm there that will tab in and rotate the fist, and you have an arm. Okay, so we've got one arm. Now let's do the other one. Believe it or not, you don't flip up this panel here, which I thought you would do. You do leave it out like that. But it's basically the same thing on Bone Crusher that we just did on Scavenger. Free up the treads. Rotate this section down. Fold it out. On this one, that ankle will fold up and the panel's in there. That's actually what I missed on the original review, is that I did not know that there was that panel there. So tab that in and then bring it down, and this will peg into place just like that. Fold down that peg, flip out the fist, tab it in, and there you go. And there you have the second arm. So again, same thing. It'll just slide down into place. And there's actually a secondary way it's going to, these will secure into place. So that's really cool. And again, if you're familiar with the Unite Warriors or Combiner Wars version, it works the same way. Since, this is part of Long Haul, I figured I'd do both of them together. So we're going to start off with this little payload piece. What you want to do is go ahead and remove this bottom section, and then go and grab the wings, if they're not stored on the side, and bring them along. And let's see, there's a post and a slot and there's some tabbing along the side that will secure it all in. And now you have the breastplate Devastator. And of course, I'm sure you can figure out how that's going to work. Now, the one thing I don't like is that there's really no way to store this little hinge trailer hitch. And you know, when you look at Devastator from the behind, it kind of looks a little funny that it's sticking out like that. But you want to unpeg this from the front, rotate this whole section back and around, and you want to start folding things up. Fold that up like that, and then fold this panel up into that panel. And we're just going to leave things for right now the way it is. You know, just leave that off the side. You'll see in a second. These two purple sections will fold up, and that forms a connector piece that's going to go into long haul. Unpeg what will be the hips and thighs of hips. Yeah, no, calf, shin. Yeah, thighs of. I get my anatomy wrong sometimes. Of Devastator. They peg into the skirt piece. Rotate that down. Bring, of course, then these down so they cover up. So there's the waist there's the waist section. And, you know, again, this will form the knees right here. You can see the two different combined ports where they're going to tab into the legs. Now, for long haul here, we're going to remove his gun. Make sure it's combined. I'm going to show you. Well, you know what? Let me show you right now. They actually have long haul's gun store in the front here of Mixmaster, and the port does fit quite nicely. I don't know if that's for a decorative reason. It gives a little bit of an extra length to the foot. Maybe that explains why it's part green and, you know, black like that. But there you go. And I think then I'll just show you where the guns for the legs store. So once you have that done, like you're going into robot mode, open up the back section like that, bring out the arms, swing them up into place, and now what you want to do is rotate the arms so the tab. You're going to rotate them so there's a slot here right under where the fist for long haul is. That's going to fold up and tab into place on the back of the arm. And then there's like another tab right where the elbow joint was that's going to come in there. The instructions don't really explain that well. I'm sure I didn't just now, but bring the arm up. Rotate this around so you can get to that first slot and tab. And then just rotate this up into place and make sure this stays tabbed in. And then tab it in here on the side. Just like that. And that, of course, is where I was tabbing in the barrel to the blaster, so that's what that's actually for. And you want to make sure that these tabs are facing out, and you have the tabs up here. Next, what you want to do is come in, fold this section down. It's going to fold back like this, tab there. Fold this up, tab it in like that. You'll have this whole, you're going to collapse the legs up like this, and then what's really nice is the heels are going to fold forward and tab into what was the hood or that canopy part over the front of the truck, and that actually makes a very solid piece. So let's go ahead now, and I'll show you how to combine it. You'll see there's long haul's face, and you'll see that there's two tabs or grooves right there, and those are going to slide in like that. What I would actually recommend first is come around the back here. You see these little, this is where the trailer hitch would peg in. You're going to actually sit those into that groove and then bring this over And this will come down and like that, and then this will snap into place, locking that back section. So basically here you have the stomach area of sorts, the stomach and crotch area of Devastator. Okay, so that's, and let me tell you, it's a very dense, solid connection, locks together quite nicely. It's not that hard to take apart, but you do see what I was talking about that hitch. So there's that bit. Now let's get to hook. Before we get to hook, I did forget, I did want to show you where Scrapper and Mixmaster's guns do peg in. Right here on the back on these foot panels. I liked, and they do it that it's basically Mixmaster becomes this leg, gun pegs on that side. Same thing with Scrapper. Nice little touch right there. It keeps it out of the way for the most part. Here's Hook, and much like Scavenger and Bone Crusher, Hook's gun stays into place. Now, of course, if you do have some issues transforming, obviously you can remove it and then reattach it. So bring the crane up like that. Lift up the actual crane section, the control cockpit, and just shuffle it off to the side. Next, what you want to do is fold the arms down at the elbow. Remember, they do peg in, so just bring them down like that. Bring down the feet, or really the feet, shins, that whole section. And then flip up the head of Devastator. Devastator's head actually tabs into place there and helps hold this section together, so you do have to bring it up. At this point, you can go ahead and double accordion out both sides. And once you have that done, you can fold this section forward. There's a little slot right there in a tab section. Fold this section forward, bring them together like that. Bring down the crane arm. Flip the panel with Devastator's head on it down. Tab it into place. There's 2 tabs right there that will help secure it all. Oop. That little panel with like the crane on it does like to wobble a little. Flip the this looks a little crooked, so let me just there we go. Push that up, push that up. Flip the legs down into place. And then what you want to do is fold that arm back up into, fold the fist in, bring it up into place like that, and fold that fist in, like so. And basically, if you get confused about which arm folds up, it's basically the only one that can fold. With that being done, rotate Devastator's head around. Open up the forehead like this so you can reach in, flip out the face properly, the faceplate properly, and close the head. And there we have the visage of Devastator. Now, of course, there's been many different ways Devastator has looked. Visor, individual eyes, different head shapes. This, again, is based on Transformers the movie. So, with Hook done, I guess now we can start combining the pieces together. Okay, I've got long haul back, and here's Hook. Almost forgot, with Hook, you need to flip out that little connecting tab right there, this connecting tab right here, flip open the canopy here, flip that out. There's all the tabs. So basically what's going to happen is there's a hole right there in the bottom of Hook's foot that's going to go over that tab on the smokestack. And then you'll see that tab right there goes into the forearm of Hook, and that little other tab section there. Basically, get that one, the purple one in, and then this back one, that should work. There's a tab on the foot of of long haul here that goes, sorry, there's a slot on the foot of hook that goes into the tab on the forearm of long haul. Same thing on this side. This will help all secure, lock everything in. So there you have that. I mean, I don't think everything has to sit perfectly. I mean, it's very hard to tell, but I think I kind of got it. Now, normally, I would recommend if you're doing this yourself, go ahead, like, just attach the legs. It'll be a lot easier to do. But to present this on camera, it's actually easier for me to do the arms. So here's Scavenger. It's going to slide right on down onto that piece right there, all the way until it snaps into place, at which point there was a slot on the bottom of the tread, the rear tread of Scavenger, that is now going to tab into the forearm of long haul. It doesn't sit exactly right. It's a little bit easier on the other side, but it does hold. And keep in mind that the chest plate is going to tab across, and that will help hold the arms into place a little bit better. Take Bone Crusher, do the same thing on this side. Again, push it down until it snaps, then come around the back, find that slot, and it's kind of hard with big fingers to get in there and like push everything into place. All right, but you have the arms attached. Now for the chest plate. And here's an easy way that I figured out to attach and remove the chest plate. Open up the hood, the front section of long haul. There's tabs right here where my fingers are on the chest plate. That are snapping, going to snap into place here. Very easy to do it when this is open, to put it on and to take it off. Once you have it like that, close it up. There are 2 tabs here. They're going to go into the slots right there. And then, of course, the arms here, the slots here, the tabs on the sides, right where my thumbs are, peg into the treads. So there you have Devastator. Well, there you have the arms. Now let's do the legs. And I'm telling you right now, this is all going to be out of the frame because we're going to focus on the legs. So come in. Let's see here. You'll notice there's a tab, the groove, tab and groove. Bring it in like that. Bring that back and kind of just, you can go in that way. Maybe that's a little easier, but oh boy, peg it all together. Like I said, before having the arms attached, it's easier to get this on. There we go. All right, so, oh boy. So that was my fault right there. This actually isn't that hard to do when you're not on camera, but definitely make sure you have this section locked into place. Make sure those are folded down, and then we gotta basically you have to relock. That snaps in. Make sure that hook is in place, and there you have the one leg attached. Yeah, there is a little section. I mean, some of the photos, it's a little more noticeable. There is this section here that's a little off center. It matches with Mixmaster, so it's not like it's an egregious thing that really sticks out. But Mixmaster will just slot on like that. Then you close up. And you see how it's even there. But oh yeah, we've got Devastator's legs. Very nice legs. Here, you want to do a little something out to the side. There's no outward ratchet, but you do have the ankle tilt. So we can do a little something like this. Get him a little stable. And I'm going to have to like completely zoom out now and so I can show you the finished figure. I am completely zoomed out. I have my camera pulled back. I'm actually, if in case for those of you who are following along at home, I'm using my big boy tripod, so I've had to pull that back. And still, I have parts of Devastator that are not exactly in frame. But like I said, in terms of the weapon storage, you see the gun there on the front of Mixmaster's foot, the guns here on the side of the arms. Oh, by the way, on Scavenger, yeah, that's how they want you to, I think, put it in with the barrel facing up. This hides it a little bit better. So I think that was a little bit of an error. And unfortunately, with a Bone Crusher, it's just there. Maybe it gives it a little bit of color, breaks up the color a little. I mean, Hooks is fairly well hidden. The legs are perfectly hidden. Oh, and by the way, here's Devastator's blaster. You can peg it on the side too if you want. But let's give Devastator his blaster. Pegs right into the hand just like that. The fists are articulated. And yeah, a few things to know. You can, and you will, as you handle this figure, knock Mixmaster's arms back down into place. They really just come out to free up the ankle pivot. With Scavenger, Scrapper here, I guess this coming out are giving it a little extra support. You do have knees, by the way. They are on ratchets. You have the legs are on ratchets. Now, I do have to mention, we do have the problem of combiner lean, that there is a little bit too much of a give between the clicks of the ratchets. So there is that. So just be aware of that. Oh boy. And once again, that leg is likes to come undone, and just make sure that's not pegged in. There we go. So you do have some posability. I mean, with Devastator. But then again, like, what exactly are you going to do with this? Devastator is not known for being a yoga master. He's known for being big, beefy, and sort of taking out and being taken out by the Dinobots, when really it should have been Omega Supreme, but we all know the stories behind the making of Transformers the movie. But yeah, part of the fun of this is putting it together. Like I said, this central core of Hook, Long Haul, and that extra trailer piece, very solid, very tight. Unfortunately, when you start putting the arms on, yeah, there's a little bit of the force to lock them into place. You do jostle some of the tabs that are like the forearms of Hook, the forearms of Long Haul. The legs, not too bad. Personally, yeah, I guess we're giving you my final thoughts. Personally, the way it was done on the original Combiner Wars Unite Warriors version, I kind of dug that a little bit better, because what you had is you had panels coming up from the front and rear and coming from Scrapper and then coming down from Long Haul. And instead of having just the connection point here, you had a connection point in the front, a connection point in the back, and I even think, something on the sides. And that was with both of Scrapper and Mixmaster. And it just felt more secure to me. Again, you also had the combiner lean, but on that, there were screws. You could tighten it. I'm not seeing a lot of ways to do tightening of the screws. So if you're going to have Devastator displayed, especially with the arms up like I have, keep in mind that over time, things are going to loosen up, and I don't really know how to fix it. I know a lot of people were actually buying the Constructicons to display with their Combiner Wars Unite Warriors Devastator. And I think that's great. And I think that would work very well. Individually, the figures are much better than what we got with those Combiner War Unite Warriors released. But this Devastator, I don't know. It feels a little, they're saying it's more to scale. I always felt Devastator should have been one of the bigger boys. Obviously, stand toe to toe with Omega Supreme. Should be as tall as Predaking, because Predaking, even though it's 5, the robots were bigger. Devastator is 6 robots, so definitely should be about the same size there. Aesthetically, as I mentioned when we were doing Hook, Devastator had, I think within his first appearance, the first episode, he had like 2 different appearances. Like they changed the head animation. So this is accurate to the movie. And yeah, it's just fun. I will say it again, if you're looking to buy your favorite Constructicon, maybe wait until some time has passed, because I know people are looking for these, and like Walmart just got Scrapper and Bone Crusher. I thought they had them already. Maybe it's a restock. So it might take a while at brick and mortar, where a lot of people still shop, to get all these out. And you want to give everybody who wants to build Devastator a chance. Obviously, Transformers have always been called a multi-tier toy because they have do puzzle play, and I think Devastator is a great example of the puzzle play, because it doesn't combine like traditional combiners. You don't have a frame here, so there's like a rawness to it where the feet are the fronts of the vehicles, the arms are like the vehicles. There's little bits that attach for the forearms, and yeah, the extra pieces that had to be added, these were extra pieces that had to be added on the original toy. And there's no, and even on the Combiner Wars and Unite Warriors version, there's really no way to do a perfect, like a fully perfect transformation. I will still say that if Long Haul was released as a leader class figure, a sized leader class figure, maybe even Commander, with the modern engineering, that extra trailer could have been integrated, and we would have had a single piece of figure with way less kibble there on the back. That's the one thing. The back of the Combiner Wars Unite Warriors version, much cleaner than this. But again, that's not too bad. And remember, everything locks here. So there's that. There's really not much more to say. I'm okay. If they never did this, I would have been okay. I have the Unite Warriors version. I think, though, that now that this is out, I think we're good with Devastator. Unless we're going to do something like a My First Transformer, where it's a very simplified, kid-friendly combining Devastator, I don't think we need to see the Constructicons or Devastator redone. Just reissue this. And even though they said there's no plans for a box set now, I'm sure at some point down the line there will be one. Maybe with different shades of green, a different head for Devastator. We get Diaclone colors, Generation 2 colors. Who knows? I think it really depends on the demand. But that's about it. I hope you found this video helpful in learning how to combine Devastator. And I hope I gave you some ideas on opinions on what to do with Devastator. Or whether to buy Devastator. So if you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. You know the spiel there. I do have a Patreon, www.patreon.com/ChuckDog1999. You know the spiel there too. $1 a month, $12 a year. And frankly, the last thing I want to say, play with your toys. It's more fun that way. This is your old pal Chuck for the Constructicons and Devastator. We will see you next time.